On the vast platform that is YouTube, there's a lot of comic book content. A lot of it is pretty good, but a lot of it is also pretty terrible and brain dead, which is what we're going to be discussing today. A few of the worst types of comic book content on the internet. The first type of comic book content we're going to be looking at is the videos that are just summarizing an entire storyline, like videos with the title of like, this character does this, like shit like that. Like, it's just so brain dead. Like, I'm not going to make the argument that it's not fair use, because that's not in my best interest. But if your video is basically just the storyline in the comic, like in video form, you're not really transforming anything really. Also, in most of the content, you're not really like giving like any like extra. You're not really expanding on any of the ideas in the book. You're just like summarizing it. So it is teetering on not being fair use, but I'm not going to say it's not fair use. You know, because that's kind of throwing stones in a glass house, which I'm gonna avoid doing in this video. At least I'm gonna try to. But not only is it just kind of like your video is just a comic in video form. You're not really like adding on to anything. Also, by making this kind of content, you obviously think that this story is interesting, right? Because you're making a whole video. Like basically summarizing. It's basically like a Wikipedia article. You're just summarizing it. But if you think that the storyline or the comic is so interesting, what your obvious intent is for people to go to the book and read it themselves. Or at least that's what I think is the intention. But by making this kind of content, you're directly leading to the exact opposite happening, because your video basically serves as a replacement for you're reading the actual book. Again, I'm not going to say it's not fair use, because, but if your intent is to get people to enjoy the story that you find interesting, making this kind of content is not going to lead to that happening. Because if you think the story is so interesting, you wouldn't just summarize the entire thing. You'd be like, oh, I think this story is interesting because this and this and this, so I'm going to tell you guys to go read the comic. Not going to explain everything, because obviously if you explain everything, there's no reason to go to the comic and read it, because you already know everything. So I think these creators, I don't know their intention with all these, because I feel like they could want people to go read the comic, but by making this content, it's pretty obvious that you don't really your intention isn't really to get people to go to read the comic. Your intention is to get people to watch your video. So, in my perspective, if I thought a story was interesting, I would want other people to read it and to get the same experience I got. So, I wouldn't summarize the entire story, because what's the point of reading the book if you're summarizing the entire story? I would just, say a few things that I found interesting in this book, while not, giving away the entire plot. But I would then redirect people to go read the comic, which, is my ultimate goal in that case. But, again, these creators, I don't really think that their intention is to get people to go read the comic. Their intention is to just get money from basically being a Wikipedia article. And also, in, the recent years, I've seen a lot of this type of content, not in, the video format, but in shorts. I'll go on my phone, look for a video to watch, and my shorts tab, there'd be a video, be Batman kills the entire Justice League, stuff like that. I'm it's so prevalent in shorts, which kind of backs up the claim that they're just doing it for money, and because the short form format it gets the viewer's attention quickly, and it's not a drawn out video where people are gonna click off in 30 seconds, but you make it so over edited and stuff in the short, where you get people's attention, and then they just leave without wanting to go actually read the comic, But I think maybe a few people will go and read the comic. I don't think that most of the people watching this content are gonna go and then go to their local comic shop and then pick up this book. I don't think that's most of the time. I don't think that's happening. But this kind of content being in shorts kind of leads me to believe that they're really just doing this for money, And I'm not saying that you can't do it for money, but I just feel like it'd be better for the entire space, the comic book space, if you're leading people to go buy comics instead of just being like a Wikipedia article and like explaining the entire storyline. Which I don't want to get into this too much, but it is kind of a reason why the comic book industry is dying because of some of this content. But that's another topic for another video. But that's my thoughts on that. The next type of comic content we're going to be looking at is videos titled like the entire history of Batman or the entire history of Wolverine, like videos like that. But these ones, unlike the other ones, where it's like, okay, it's kind of like an article, but these videos specifically are quite literally Wikipedia articles. You're basically just summarizing the entire character, which you could literally just get by, going on Wikipedia and looking at the character. But this content isn't all that terrible, because there's some people who are able to, kind of summarize the entire character. But there's also, like, an end goal. This shows this character is this and this and this, and this shows how this character has changed over the years, like stuff like that. But again, it is kind of like a Wikipedia article in the way that it's just like summarizing the entire character and with not really adding any value. But there are some people who do it in a way that is adding value. But at the end of the day, it is basically still summarizing Wikipedia article. But there are some ways that it can be better, like you summarize the entire character over the years with different writers and stuff. That content is fine. It's just like the content where just like summarizing the entirety of a character's history, like just summarizing it and not adding any value. That's the kind of content I'm talking about. But there are some people who, with kind of giving like a Wikipedia summary, they also add value by analyzing their change throughout their history, like analyzing like what kind of character they really are. I feel like that's like a good way to do it, but just like summarizing the entire character without adding really anything is just kind of like a net negative to the comic book community, because again, your video basically serves as a replacement for reading all the Batman comics or all the Superman comics, right? So I just think it'd be better for the industry in general for these creators to actually, lead their viewers to actually go read the books. And I'm not saying you have to do that, I'm not saying that you have to have, like, some promotion at the end of every video, like, oh, read this comic and read this comic. But by summarizing an entirety of a character, you're basically creating a replacement for the actual comic, which is just, like, not good. Unless the comic's terrible, in which you wouldn't really want people to read them. In that case, then yeah, you can go ahead and summarize the entire thing and not really want to lead people to that comic. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say about that one. And finally, we have videos about Spider-Man Lotus. Now I know that sounds bad, but I made a whole video on this, but I will go over it again. Gavin Gnop is not a racist. Gavin Gnop is not a racist. And I see on my freaking what's it called? On my homepage on YouTube. I go to my homepage. I scroll down looking for a video to watch. I see a video like Spider-Man Lotus meets the Spider-Man 2099. Like in the entire video, he's just being racist. Like, it's so crazy how people have been like psyoped into believing that this guy is racist when he's really not racist. If you go and watch the video, you can see that he is not racist. You use the N-word, you're not a racist person. Unless you're using it in a racist intent, which he was not, so therefore he is not a racist. But it's crazy how many people think he is racist. Like, it's so crazy. Like I'm not gonna say everyone thinks he's racist, but it's definitely a large majority of people who think Gavin Gnop and I guess Spider-Man Lotus is like a racist movie, but it's really not. If you go and watch the movie, there's nothing racist about the movie. If you go and read his screenshots with with his friend saying the fucking N-word to like when he was like 14, I'm pretty sure he was like 14 when he did that anyway. But when you go read those messages, he's not a racist. I don't understand how people can still believe That is not a racist. But he is a racist, actually. Like, I can't comprehend how people can still think this. I just don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. Like, I'm, like, you know, it's just like, I'm done ranting. And those were a few of the worst types of comic book content on YouTube. Let me know in the comments what your least favorite type of comic book content on YouTube is, and, whether my list was justified or not. You've been watching Lowhand, I've been Lowhand, and in the winds of your cape.